New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams. NYC.
Yo, what's poppin', KOT family? It's your boy, Lee Escobedo, the Latin Assassin. I'm here with my sis, Ebony, and the mod god, Fritz Alessandro. We're here to break down this Knicks game. Jay Ellis could not make it. He's got some side work that he had to take care of for a freelance project. So you had the two-man weave holding down the fort tonight for a great defensive effort from the Knicks tonight. Actually, damn it, I had the wrong game up. Let me do the right game. I almost did the Milwaukee Bucks score 110-93 against the Portland Trailblazers, a Trailblazers team that's been playing pretty damn good as of late. At least offensively, they've been showing what they got with a very nice young core. Tonight, the New York Knicks were led by OG Anunoby, 28-7-2. Mikal Bridges, 28-7-2. Karl-Anthony Towns, 10-11. DeLon Wright, 7-2. Hold on a minute. Actually, I think my computer is really screwing me. Try to not make me be great. I think the scores might not be updated because I feel like that OG Anunoby might have had more points in that. I thought he hit 30. There we go. I just said is right. Landry Shamet, 11-4, and who was the last one? Josh Hart, 14-8-9. Almost had another triple-double. Josh Hart was really key, I think, in generating our offense tonight and getting it set up. But we didn't talk about it all. Before we do, let me introduce my former D1 baller, co-host Ebony. How you feeling, sis? Talk to him.
First, I gotta get it off mute. I'm good. I'm good. I got the jacket on because it's a good team win. You know how that go. We definitely turned it around. It was a roller coaster of a game, but we got it together, and that's all you can ask for is the W, right? And our big three or whatever you want to call it, showing out, showing you their whole repertoire. I like the aggressiveness. I like the confidence, and I can't wait to break down this great team win. Even shouts out to Tibs for some things he did today too. So I can't wait to break this down.
I want to go on started with a little monologue about the state of the NBA and the quality of NBA. I make an argument, and I think most people agree with this, that this is the most talent the NBA has ever seen, and that is most evident on the teams that are knocking on the door of lottery or maybe a little bit too bad to be in the play-in tournament. Those teams have a plethora of talent. This Portland Trailblazer team that has been one of the worst teams in the NBA for the last 4 years, this season still not able to hit 500, even though they're vastly improving offensively at 32-43 for the season. They got a nice team here that can give guys fits. I love the addition of Denny Avija. I know this is not a Portland Trailblazer podcast, but it's important to understand your opponent to understand the quality of this win. He has become one of the best attacking the rim players in the NBA, both with efficiency, attempts, and mates. Today he gave you 33-7, and he was getting downhill without any strings, without any pin downs run for him. It was just a one-man fast break. Josh Hart style uses physicality, his improved handle to get to the rim at will. We really didn't have an answer with him. Even when Mitch was in, we could not stop his dribble penetration, which opened things up for the rest of the team, where you had Kamara, another very nice young player, giving you 16, Shane Sharp, the Canadian, giving you 23-7, and Anthony Simons, probably their one positional where they need improvement, whether that be Stuart Henderson getting into that role, or maybe in the draft this year for agency, they find that point guard to really set up their offenses. They got one of the best collections of wings and a very good center in Donovan Kleindon, who's a solid shot blocker. Believe it said he's fourth in the NBA in blocks in 19 minutes a game. That tells you a great sample size of just how good defensively he can be. But the Knicks collectively were able to overcome that, hitting 10 of 13 from their free throws, 10 of 25 from the three-point line for 40%, and shooting 53% from the field, 45 of 84. Let's start this conversation off with another excellent game by OG Anunoby. This was probably his best two-way performance, and this has been his best two-way performance of his career this season, really taking on the scoring load along with Mikal Bridges once JB went down. Ebony, what'd you like from OG on the defensive and offensive end tonight?
Everything. My type of player for real. Just on the offense, mixing it up, keeping the defense on its toes. Showing you again his bag off the dribble. He did even seen a little Mikal. I called it the little turnaround fadeaway he hit today from the free throw line. Just working and taking what the defense is giving him really, and the fact that the way he's finishing at the rim. He had a ton of dunks today. Very aggressive, super aggressive. I seen him, and his confidence is what you want, which is most important. Is he's finding his role, his places in his offense and his team, and also it's just the confidence leading into the playoffs because he felt Anthony Simons on him. Anthony Simmons on him, and immediately called for the ball, feeling like this guy cannot guard me. He cannot guard me. Get me the ball. And with on defense, just him active, always active. Even when he's not on ball, he's still a threat. Either stepping over, help rotation, chase that blocks, whatever the case may be, playing the passing lane. He's always looking to make a difference on that end. When we were in a little run, when they scored that 15 points in a row and we couldn't play any defense, I caught his facial expression. He got mad. I forgot who it was. It was either Josh Hart or Precious. Somebody got blown by pause. And his facial expression said it all. Like, come on, y'all. Like, this is not it. This is not the defense that I can't it physically looked like it was hurting him to watch it. So yes, I am very impressed with OG. Super impressed him. I love his defense. I love the impact he's always trying to make his imprint on that end. And that was a big thing for how we took the lead. On why we took the lead is because we were able to take our defense and turn it into offense also. Get some easy buckets and transitions.
One of the reasons I've held the philosophy this year of not getting too high or too low in the regular season is because and I've said this multiple times, and I think you'll probably agree with me. This team is built for the playoffs. The style and makeup of this roster is a roster that I believe in my heart is going to raise to the occasion and play better on both ends once the playoffs start than in the regular season. And that's saying something because we're still the third seed in the East, and we're able to be both a consistent 50-win team in the regular season and then get to a second round in the postseason thus far. And that's with injuries. This year, if we get healthy, I'm really excited about the pecking order below Brunson. It feels like these guys, no one really cares about getting their shots or what their role is. They're happy to contribute what is needed of them night to night based on matchups. Tonight was not Karl-Anthony Towns' game. No surprise, Donovan Clinton is a very mobile, lateral big that's able to guard at the level. He made it very difficult for Karl-Anthony Towns to get downhill, to become an offensive rebounder. He got him in opportunities where he was getting offensive fouls. That's okay because Wingstop stepped up tonight. You had a 28-piece night from both OG and Mikal Bridges. And really, OG led us in the first half, and then Mikal Bridges brought us home. These are two guys now that are both putting together games where they have their sweet spots in the mid-range, especially Bridges, but they're both becoming movement shooters. They're starting to come off, OG's coming off those curls too, and we're starting to have this lineup of guards, and I'm going to include Josh Hart in this conversation too, when he's active in the mid-range spot as a secondary playmaker, that are able to find them in their slots to get them really easy looks at the rim without having to do a whole lot of self-creation on the perimeter, getting double team and triple team and throwing up bricks. You saw very few bailout shots tonight as the offense was moving, the ball was moving, that led to a lot of assisted shots. We got 27 in all tonight, and on the defensive end, because of OG limiting their assists to just 19 and 14 turnovers, they shot 9 of 36 in the perimeter, 25%. All those issues, Ebony, to start the season about us not being able to guard the perimeter, I've really seen an attention to detail improvement on that end going toward the playoff, and it couldn't happen at a better time. Speaking of Wingstop, Mikal Bridges really was unbelievable in the second half, being guarded by a pretty decent collection of switchable players who can guard the pick and roll, guard the perimeter, and Tamani Kamara, and Shaden Sharp. What do you think about Mikal Bridges? What stood out for you in his all-around game tonight?
Just looking like the number one option. and not shying away from it either, not looking to defer. And again, not it wasn't even forceful. It wasn't anything. It was all in the rhythm of the offense. Nothing seemed forced. He had some turnovers, had some problems with the handle. Other than that, I liked his approach. He stayed that. Why change it? Let them stop you. Why stop going to what's working? If they can't stop you in that mid range, keep doing it, and that's exactly what he did. Like you mentioned, getting into his sweet spots, and that's something else we can talk about because I always look at injuries as try to look as positive, like the next person up, who's going to step up, who's going to show you that they can do it, and the confidence thing. But also for Tibbs, because he seems to getting a better handle on how to use OG and Mikal. It seems like when with Jalen's not there, he seems to have placed found how to really use OG, how to play their game and mix it with what he wants to do it. Like I always ask him to do, mix your system with your player strengths. It seems like he's definitely doing that with OG and Mikal. You see more post up for OG. You see them flash into the free throw line in their sweet spots. You see them continuously going to them. Straight rows. Plays in a row. I want to read off a stat they posted on on MSG. It was in the second half. We had 10 steals, 10 blocks, 18 points off of turnovers, and 26 fast break points. And a lot of that had to do with OG and Mikal. It's crazy because Mikal was killing again. He started his heater again with the bench pieces. Him going off with the bench. That might be something to look at from here on, because there's another game where he's gone off with the bench. Um, I'm loving both him and OG's confidence because believe me, when Jalen Brunson comes back, there won't be any hesitation. There's no confusion. Hopefully the ball movement continues because again, we're not looking for the best available player. We're looking for the best available shot, and I love that.
Special shout out to my main man, Big Unk, the mentor, Tony Banks, for a $10 super chat. Lee, he says, OG is coming into his own. Absolutely, brother. And I had to disagree with Timmy, pitch for Timmy, who says that both have always been movement shooters. Mikal Bridges certainly always been a movement shooter. I mean, he's
Yes.
probably one of the most movement off ball relocators in the NBA. But OG has not always been a movement shooter. This is really the first year we've seen him adding that to his game and having the confidence to apply it when he's called on to be a first option when Mikal is on the bench. I would also say this is the most aggressive we've seen Mikal Bridges as a movement shooter. And I think a lot of that has to do when Jalen Brunson has set, you're starting to see more play calling being integrated into the offense. Since Brunson's injury against the Lakers, this is the most Spain pick and roll that I've seen, which has benefited not just Wingstop, but the third guy I want to talk about, Landry Shamet, who is really, I think, rediscovering his confidence, running off strings, the ball screens, specifically on the right side of the court, and getting some nice open looks on the perimeter. If Shamet can just give us 8 to 10 a game off the bench, and I think in the big scope of things, that's not asking too much. That is a whole nother weapon that we bring to the playoffs. As he has playoff experience, he's not going to fold in the big moments. It took him a while, as you always say, to get the Washington poverty rust out of your system to be able to be an offensive force and play winning basketball. We saw that with Brunson and Bodie last year. We saw it with Shamet this year. But I like the renewed aggressiveness and confidence of Shamet playing the best defense of his career and the best offense of his Knicks career this season. Let me hear your thoughts on Shamet, and also you can then parlay that into conversation on Precious as well.
Well, Lee, I got your back because when you mentioned that Shampman might start, I was like, he could. You
I
know,
got
it's
crucified for that.
I was with it though. I was like, it might. We never know. He plays good defense. He's known to have a jump shot. Sounds like Tibbs. A Tibbs job. So I like again. I always say that Shamet remind me of Grimes, especially on the defensive end. Not so much on the offensive
Yep.
end, but the defensive end. He reminds me of Grimes. They play good defense. It's just sometimes it's the size. So it's like good defense, better offense, but he's always in the play. He tries to get around the picks, the screens, very with aggression. He's always at his hands active. Tries not to play outside the scheme of things, just does what he has to, plays a team ball. And that's the type of, again, player, like you mentioned. I believe, too, that this is a playoff built team.
Yeah.
You talk about the game slowing down. You have all these defensive playmakers around you. You talk about the vets. You have Shaman. If Shaman's confidence, the no hesitation that I'm seeing, there's no hesitation. It was one point where he wasn't really that open, but he took it. I was like, okay.
I like seeing it.
I was like, okay, he's feeling himself. But again, I like that because when we go into playoffs and they're star hunting, they try to make different things difficult for Jalen Brunson. They try to make things difficult for Cat, like you see teams will do. And sometimes Cat is gonna have a bad game, like he did. But everybody else, pick your teammate up when they're not having a good game. That's just it. That's the next person up, the next man up, and that's what you see. Shaman again, the next good defense, good team play, even moves the ball. It just fundamentally sound,
Yeah.
and that's what you need in your role players.
Solid string navigator too.
Yes, yes. And shouts out to Mitch too, because all those Mitch don't set screens. My man get people buckets. Ask DeLon Wright. Got that man
He did.
lay. Like, come on. So many layers to Mitch, like an onion.
Well said. And I think Shamit's increased role and confidence is going to be really key because right now the Knicks are fourth in the lead in drives. We average 29.9 points per game on drives in the playoffs in a 7-game series against Milwaukee, against Pistons, whoever we play in that first round. Adjustments will be made to really limit that. They're going to try to pack the paint. You saw tonight the Portland Trailblazers enact a zone in the first half. And how do we beat it? By making and taking and making those open 3-point shots. Josh Hart has to get his confidence back in order for us to get past second round. I think it's currently constructed, fully healthy. We're getting out of the first round, in my opinion, easy. Detroit, 6 games. Milwaukee could be a sweep. I'll give him 5 because Giannis is on the roster. But that second round series right now, the Boston Celtics are going to almost guaranteed to be our second round opponent. In order for us to beat them, Josh Hart has to find the confidence that Precious Achiuwa found this game, that Landry Shaman has found the last couple of games from the 3-point line. That will be crucial to us actually being a 5-out team, space the floor, and allow for those driving lanes to maintain because you can't pack a wall if you're leaving shooters open on the corners. Now, I know that OG and Mikal's corner shooting is the best in the NBA, but it has to come from all levels and all players. If Brunson and Cat are not going to be volume shooters, Josh Hart's 3 to 2 mates a game are crucial to keeping the defense honest. So that's the one thing I'm still worried about going to this postseason is Hart's 3-point shot, but he did so many other things well. I'll let you take it first on talking about the all-around game of Josh Hart, who almost had another triple-double tonight.
Yeah, Josh Hart, what can you say? Just constant energy. Sometimes his energy may go the wrong way, if you want to say, but he definitely keeps the energy. And one thing I think they can do to help that is to keep him in constant motion, especially if he has a big on him, maybe backdoor cuts type of vibe, take him out backdoor cuts or pick and roll at the top like they do sometimes with him and Mitch. Just to keep the bigs active or whatever. Like, I know sometimes he does play with the bench. I agree. I would love for his no hesitation. Have some confidence. In the beginning, I always tell people always bring up the beginning of the season, but I always bring up new season adrenaline. You've been working on something all off season. You feeling yourself. I got this. I got this. So as a non-shooter, like, I got this. I got this. As soon as the shots stop falling, though, that's when the doubt comes in. And that's what I always say. New season adrenaline sometimes makes players. Of course, they look totally different in the beginning of the season. I think that's kind of what happens with Hart. It's definitely a confidence thing because his form is not all that bad.
Right.
It has to be like a head, something, a mental problem, not mental problem, but you get what I mean. It's just in your own head. But like you mentioned, he does so many things across the box score. He affects the game. Gives the bigs all they can handle on the rebounding end, and that's big for Cat and Robinson because he helps them. They don't have to solely do it by themselves.
Yeah, the minutes that Cat set, I saw Chauncey Billups was putting Klein on Josh Hart, which we've seen different points in this season where the opposing team puts their center on Hart and kind of dares them to shoot. Where I thought Hart was effective was a second half adjustment where he kind of stayed away from the perimeter and started his action at the free throw line. Then he became the playmaker, where that's his sweet spot when he starts playing like Draymond. Now, Draymond can hit threes. We haven't seen that from Hart the second half of the season. But if he didn't hit threes, plus the playmaking in the short roll in the mid range, then he becomes really the nexus of our offense. And I think everyone eats more because of that additional pass he makes, the hockey assist to the open shooters or the cutters, the baseline cutters. OG and Mikal are great at that. Shaman has a little bit of that in his game too. Precious has a little bit of that in his game too. That I think was a great adjustment by Tibs to really relocate him on the floor and make him more of a passer than a scorer. And hey, he still got some floaters. He got some attack at the basket too and showed that he's one of the best finishers in transition. A one-man fast break that I think OG has copied a little bit of. Yeah, I really loved the entire performance from the wings, including Precious Achiuwa, who looks to have gotten his groove back, man. Like just like Stella, my man must have went to Jamaica and found some love in the sand on a quick weekend vacay. He came back to MSG on Clyde's 80th birthday night and really played the best game in a very long time. The best game since before Mitch when came back from injury. This was primo Achiuwa. He wasn't forcing the issue, wasn't making goofy ball watching mistakes on defense. He was active. I thought most impressively, his boxing out tonight was really, really elite. Excellent boxing out against a very good rebounding team in the Portland Trailblazers. What'd you like?
He looked like the basketball IQ savant they told us about. Just a little bit. That's the problem with Precious though. It's been very roller coaster, just like this game. I like that he was again with the confidence. That's the recurring theme right now. That's what you need again to get into this playoff, and the no hesitation, the still taking him. The fact that he's still taking it, even though he has not played the best prior, that he's doing that. Boxing out again, playing smarter, not harder. Not trying to just out jump everybody, being in the right positions, playing within the team, not turn that play on the fast break, not doing that. I don't ever want to see that again. When he turned around in the circle on the 2-on-1 fast break, remember that? I don't ever want to see that again.
Yes, so, I do.
So see, he's playing in his bag right now, and I hope that continues. I really do, because we need him. We were really thin at that position.
Now let's talk about a conversation that's been very active on Twitter. With I call them the Twitter Karens. There are many of them on Twitter. A few of them really obnoxious than others. And that conversation is who should start, Tyler Kolek or DeLon Wright. And while I am not a fan of Tibs, and you and I are I think you and I probably have the most similar opinion on Tibs, right? We tolerate him. We're able to give flowers when he deserves it, but overall, we would prefer a different voice and a different person on the sidelines if it was up to us. But I do agree with Tibs and starting DeLon Wright over Kolek. And two of the reasons are, one is the ability to take and make threes. I think DeLon Wright has gotten out of his shooting slump when he first came here, and he's really become a threat on the perimeter, and teams have to guard us differently when he's open on the perimeter. Now, I know all the playmaking Tyler Kolek gives us, but hey, every night you're not going to have the same wide open opportunities from three. Some nights you're going to have guys that are going to be really good at closing out, guys that are really good at putting pressure on the ball. And those three-point shots are going to be dirty and grimy. To me, DeLon Wright, plus the playoff experience with like 4 different teams, he is a more trusted force, I think, in this end of the season stretch, going into the playoffs as a potential maybe 9th guy, 10th guy in emergencies, the same way Burks was, than Tyler Kolek. Kolek's time will come. Kolek is absolutely the truest point guard we have in this roster. Absolutely the best passer we have in this roster, but we need defense. And DeLon Wright provides that at a 6'5" frame, his ability to guard up, be able to handle posting up 2s and posting up 1s. I like him as a starter, and I think he's a more well-rounded choice. Happy to hear disagreements, but I'm going to bet you probably agree with me. Let me hear what you have.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing. I know Tibbs, and it's the right read. It's the vet. It's the vet. We saw Tyler the game before he put DeLon in the starting lineup. How he looked versus the Clippers starters. We saw what he looks like when you start him against the starters, and it's understandable. He's a rookie. He is a rookie. He has to learn. His biggest issue is he cannot on the defensive end. And playing for Tibbs, if you don't play that end, you're not getting on the court. He's
Yep.
gotten better. He's gotten better. Granted, it's still not good though. He's gotten better. I see the improvement because before the first move, he's blown by a pause. So like I see at least he's trying. If somebody gets beat, he's trying to be in the right positions. I see that. I really do. He's trying. Same thing with Pacome. He's going off in the G League. All those are rotational pieces next year. That's the end of the bench pieces next year. Those that might
Right.
be the campaign minutes. You get what I mean? Maybe a little precious if Pacome can that's next year because again they'll have another year under their belt and he can improve. He can all off season watch film, learn ways to improve on that end to get on the court. Right now it's just we have the new shiny ball effect and so many people are just he has this potential. Yes, he has a potential, but the game is not all one on that end, on the offensive end. You have one ball and everybody else needs to hold their own and do the other little things, and he's good at running up. I won't give him. I love his passing. It's on a string, unselfish as any. I love players like that. I love unselfish players, but his defense leaves a lot to be desired, and it's why he's not a starter. And shout out to DeLon Wright because I'm not. I know of his game, but wasn't too familiar. I know of him. I know his brother. He has a brother. I know that. I know he's a like a shaman. They're supposed to be reliable into the vets, now, especially. So I like that he makes the right reads. I like his
Yep.
reads. He
Yep.
knows when to give it up, let somebody else run. He knows when to attack. Okay, he makes good reads. And that's again, so he makes good reads and he hones his own on defense. That is why he is starting. That's why he is starting. And we ask why he's here. I've asked that question if we're not going to use him. I've also asked that question, and here we need him now. It's
Very well said. Tonight, the stat line was pretty impressive when you think about a fourth, maybe fifth string point guard. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 50% from the field, 50% from a 3 point line. I point to a few metrics that I really believe that Brock Hour and Leon Rose were considering when they made this trade. They wanted to reinforce the 1 and the 2 position in case Shamet or Payne faltered in the playoffs, which their history in the playoffs would suggest otherwise. But if they did, they have someone that can break glass and insert into the playoff rotation that has really strong numerical data in very key areas. One is an 8 point per game playoff average through three, maybe 4 teams, I think: Toronto, Dallas, Miami, and Atlanta. Also, statistically, steals 1 a game in his entire playoff career highs. 3 point shooting, he averages 43% from the 3 point line for his career. 57% effective field goal, 75% free throw. That is a key metric because our guards, we're a very high penetrating team. Our guards draw a lot of fouls. And I think it's very important for whoever we have as that backup to be able to be very strong both offensively and defensively with playoff experience in those metrics. DeLon Wright checks all those boxes. I think that's why it's very similar Alec Burks experiment maneuver. I think that Leon was going after. I wouldn't even be upset if he took campaign's place in the playoff
uh,
rotation. I like his size and his ability to guard up.
I like campaign. And this is I've kind of come a long way, pause from with campaign, because I could not stand this man. Like I mean, absolutely can't stand. But when we signed him, I knew I would like him because he's the type of player when he's off your team, you just can't
Yeah,
stand him. But
yeah,
when
for
he
sure,
on your team, you like, let's
for sure.
go.
Yeah, for sure.
So I get it. I both of them. It's good to have good problem to have. Now we have another vet, me role player that is showing that he can produce if needed and is always ready. Um, I like Cam. I like both. I like Cam Payne's defense. He's been in the way taking care of the ball this year. And also the fact that if he don't know what he's doing, the defense don't know what they're doing, so he always keeps them on their toes. Nobody knows what's next with campaign. You're like, okay, but I like DeLon because we actually went on that run and he was the point guard. He was on the floor with them. It was, I believe, the start of
Very
that
true.
was DeLon. They had OG and Mikal with Mitch and Shamit. That we went on a pretty crucial. That's when we locked down defensively. They start pushing in the passing lanes, and yeah, he was the point guard during that a lot of that run. So yeah, I'm good problems to have. Other people you asked to this, you see, we asked them to use this team to see what we had, to see what they do in these positions, and now we get it. Better late than never, I guess. We getting it now. However we getting it, you get to see, and Tibbs gets to see and trust his team, his whole team, a little bit more. Because when he needed them, they're showing out.
100%. And I think the things that we really need to see get cleaned up before the end of the season, to me, at times it looked a little apocalyptic. I was like, I don't know if our defense can shore up. I don't know if these bums on the bench, talking about Shamit, talking about Precious, can get their act together and actually contribute on the offense. It was looking real one-dimensional with Jalen Brunson. But damn it, there's some silver lining to that injury. And the silver lining is, and you have said it since you got on this program, is that Tibbs coaches the best basketball when he doesn't have all of his pieces and he's forced to adjust. And I think you and I would agree. We wish he would adjust on his own, on the fly, and just embrace the freestyle and not stick to the script. But I think this has really shown different dynamics of what this team can be. Where Josh Hart, I mean, the only man with more rebounds and assists than Josh Hart is Joker. That is a truly unique one-on-one player to have to either stagger with your bench or play in your starting five that can unlock everybody is that secondary stringer, which is why I think you see an increase in the Spain pick and roll. Also adjusting to what the defense is giving you. Tibbs did a great job adjusting to the zone, adjusting to the switching with the Portland's three wings, the double teams they were doing, the drop coverage. Bridges attacked that, killed it in the mid-range. They had to adjust. Now it's still back to doubling Bridges. And then he was finding his teammates. OG was going off. Shamit was hitting shots. That's good coaching to me by Tibbs. And I know Portland's not a playoff team, but Portland has talent. And they had talent tonight that really went the hell off. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe, 3-level scorer. He's emerging as a real star in this league. Simons, no joke, attacking as a lead guard. Yeah, they have some holes. They have some size deficiency in the backcourt, but overall, very talented team that's been playing very good basketball on both ends. That was hungry, playing loose, playing without any fear tonight. And I thought the Knicks did a great job of forcing the issue, forcing turnovers, and getting back in the game, man. A lot of positives.
Yeah. Facts. And you talked a little bit about Portland in the beginning of the show. They're up and down team, because you're very young. So they have young problems like turnovers, defense is they're like middle of the pack kind of vibes. They do protect the paint. They don't give up many points in the paint. So that was something I was looking at today's game, because we don't have our point guards. How we will get our points, where we're going to just jack up threes, because they were no team stat wise, they're not a bad rim protection team, and they're also like number 3 in offensive rebounding. So that was something else that I was going to look at, how we handled their offensive rebounding. So they do things well. They get into the break, and we haven't gotten back in transition well this season. So things like that, you take what they're good at and see how your team is handling, especially if it's problems that you had the whole season. So that's what I would do, because they're on like a 4-game losing streak, but before that they were on like a 4-game winning streak. That's how their season has been. It's been a game of streaks of winning, losing. So they had injuries, so very up and down season. I get it, but they do, like you mentioned, tons of talent, and they attempt a lot of 3-pointers. They might not hit them all, but they do attempt a lot of threes. And just seeing us we adjust a couple times, because in the beginning of the game, we had them shooting in the first quarter, shooting 16% from the 3-pointer. They were like 2 for like crazy. It was like 16% they were shooting from 3-point. Then that second quarter, I believe they scored 33 points or so. And I looked at the box score at half, and it said that they were shooting almost 40% from three. That is a crazy 16% to 40% in a quarter. So my note, I put one note just to get the context of the game. I'll write a note to help me remember. I put, if we play defense, we win.
Yeah.
That's it. So to go from that and then keeping the team under 100, that's adjustments. Shout out to Tibs. Shout out to the Knicks. Adjustments. And not forcing Cat was the biggest one for me. Normally Tibbs, he still had a tip moment. Even Clyde mentioned why the starter's still in there. But it was Tibbs didn't force Cat
Yeah.
on, Cat didn't have it today. Again, it's a team that they protect the paint. And Cat just couldn't get it going from today in offense. And, defense, he's had his up and downs. He tried. I seen he had a couple steals or whatever. And a couple blocks wasn't watching, was well aware of that block. I saw that. But he has to be smarter with the two fouls. And again, Tibbs not forcing him. I thought he should have tried to shoot more from the three. I don't know how many threes he took the whole game, but when I had looked, he had hit 1 out of 1 from three. I'm like, why is he not trying to bring them out a little bit? He might be hot from there. You know how that is. Hot from the three, can't hit a two.
That's a great point, and it segues into a point that I want to make. That I mean, one of our chat members here, HRM, that's great, brought up about the 3-point volume throughout the entire season. We've been one of the lowest 3-point shooting teams. I don't have a stat in front of me right now, but tonight we took 10. Tonight we made 10, and Portland made 9. But Portland shot 25% because they took 36 overall. We shot 40% because we took 25. I agree with HRMX Great in the chat. We're going to have a damn difficult time beating Boston or Cleveland if we don't increase the volume. And I know Jalen Brunson on the bat, he's going to give you 5 or 6 a game. Additional on that, on probably 41% shooting. Hopefully, Cat starts chucking up more threes. But to me, again, it brings back to my initial point. Josh Hart to me is a key. Not just Josh Hart making 4 threes a game, but being a consistent threat where he has to be guarded on the perimeter. It opens up driving lanes for his teammates. It also means that someone else is not getting the double team because that their guy is sagging off on a hedge and recover with Josh Hart, and then he hasn't made a decision to either try to find someone else or force the issue and don't drive in from the 3-point line where he's less effective than when he catches and drives in from the free throw line. That to me is going to be troubling. That's the one thing we got to fix. And I think having Jalen Brunson back will renew Josh Hart's confidence, because no one knows Josh Hart's game and where he likes the ball on the perimeter more than Jalen Brunson. But I do think Jalen Brunson has to now adjust to this team rather than this team adjusting to Brunson when he returns.
Facts. That's a ball. Seriously, that's I agree. I definitely agree. And with Hart in the playoffs, I know it slows down again. Slows down more, as they say. The game slows down a lot in the playoffs. I just think where he can cause problems on offense, he causes a lot of mismatches too. It's just the thought that he might, or what he can do, or in the fact that he puts pressure on teams that have to get back. If you play, I understand why Tibs tries to play him and Mitch, because teams try to get back because they're scared of Josh Hart and his push. Yeah. But then if you're going back, then you just giving up the rebound basically. You're saying here you go. So it's things like that. I think during the playoffs we figure it out, and Josh Hart is a playoff type player. So sure. His energy, the crowd atmosphere, that's him. You always hear them say he's not a practice player, and that's because there's some players that need to feel the game. Like literally, they need to feel that. You can't replicate that, the energy and intensity that they will do in the game and the practice. So it just looks like you're not a practice player. I should know I was one, but that's how it happens. I was never a practice player. I used to get in tons of trouble because of it. But I get it. The crowd, the game is hard to really. I think Josh ought to be fine in the playoffs.
I hope so. It's only part of a game, and I'm worried about from him. But over his career, he shoots 34% in the regular season. In the playoffs, he shoots 35, and last year he shot 37% in the 2 rounds that he played. So he obviously, I think he understands the assignment in the postseason to make and take more threes. He took 4.5 threes compared to 2.9 with his first playoff series with the Knicks. So that to me is a key to beating Boston is a confident Josh Hart for the perimeter. Because if he starts hitting it and you got a little bit of Shamit and a little bit of Precious, and then the other starters, the other 4 starters,
Yeah.
damn it, we are unstoppable offensively.
That's why with the 3-point I get we a lot of people want more volume. Like you mentioned, you would like more volume too. I think we're like you just mentioned the different pieces and the different ways we approach the game with some of our players or lineups that we can get points in other places. Just like you saw today, we didn't have it in the half court set for a minute. They start pressuring, start getting into the passing lane. Mitch starts doing blocking shots. They start OG, Mikal, Josh Hart, didn't Shamit. They all took turns defensively and then turned into offense and not being selfish. The ball didn't stick at all today for me. I didn't see any moments where I'm like, pass the ball. He had some turnovers, but even those turnovers, they were trying to create. So, yeah, I think we just have enough. I forgot just Nick Yak. Yeah, Nick Yak says been our offense, our defense all year, and I agree. Our problem has been our defense, and we're fixing that right now. So if we can have a confidence and OG and Mikal to score the way they are, to do score efficient the way they have been this in the stretch, I think we definitely have enough. And then put in Cat getting himself together, and like you mentioned, JB, excuse me, he's adjusting to the team. Imagine, I always mention this. I imagine JB's game mixed with the dirty lollipop and the Landon's game. I always say, what would that look like? I need to see that on a consistent basis because if he did that, the game will be a piece of cake for him. Because how are you stopping Jalen Brunson 1-on-1?
It's a good point. I'll push back a little bit because Boston and Cleveland are top 4 in the NBA in 3-point attempts. Boston is number 1. They're pretty much guaranteed to be our second round opponent. They shoot 48 threes a game at 37%. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 4th in the NBA, 41 threes a game at 38%. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. The Knicks are 27th in the NBA in attempts at 12.5, shooting 34% overall. That to me, that's on mates. That to me is not going to cut it. You can't trade 2 points for 3. And especially Boston. We've seen it in both games we played them this year. They blow the doors off of us when they start hitting their threes. I know that we can score, I think, in a more variety of ways than maybe any team in the NBA, save for Boston. I'll give you that. I agree with you. And when the ball's moving, we're really hard to stop offensively. But that's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about us not being able to score. I'm worried about us giving up 2 points for 3.
Yeah, now that's a legit concern. I think with Boston, I said this last year when we were a more physical team. If you become physical with them, they look different. They're not, they're a very finesse team. I think if once you add physicality on both ends, like we can now, defensively we have resistance. Like I don't feel we play Boston yet. I don't think we play any of those teams really because they haven't seen us in this with our all our pieces.
I agree.
So relying on the 3, and I get it's a 3-point lead, but if to me, I know they have people that can get to the rim. It's just that if they rely too much on the 3, and if it doesn't go in, then what's the option B, C? So I just need to see that before I think we have a chance with Cleveland and Boston. I feel if we get a good game in Cleveland, we might just be getting in their head. It might be is this deja vu? Like again, players look so different in the playoff situation. They put maybe a little bit more pressure on themselves got a little thinking about the shot more, thinking more than playing. Some people do. So that's when I become a believer. They got to show me first.
And see, this is why I'm not 100% in agreement with myself. You brought me back around to your side of the argument because I'll say this: there's a lot of nostalgia for last year's team. A lot of people are like, and Dante DiVincenzo showed that he's still a dog in that fight that he had tonight against the Detroit Pistons. Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, their toughness were absolutely lacking, replacing it with Karl Anthony Towns. No argument there for sure. But one thing I'll give the Knicks, they have now, with Brunson's injury, OG and Mikal are confident three-level scorers. I think Bridges has been a confident two-level scorer. OG's been a confident two-level scorer. Now they're both confident three-level. Getting to the rim, scoring in the mid-range, and taking and making threes. That makes us more dangerous in that capacity than either Boston or Cleveland. Because Cleveland doesn't really have that third offensive weapon after their backcourt. In Boston, you can't count on Drew Holiday and Derek White to kill you as three-level scorers. They're going to play their role. They'll hit some bailout shots. They'll set the offense up, but they're not dynamic scorers like OG, Bridges, Cat, and Brunson are. That is our secret weapon. And for the first time all season, you're starting to see that click without JB, which is why I'm adamant JB must now adjust to the Knicks. The Knicks do not have to adjust to JB.
Facts. There's a reason. Oh, you hear me all the time. Play a ball movement. Play a ball movement. Play a ball movement. I've seen what that can do. Even if they so-called lack talent, as people say on a team, you lacking talent. I've seen what just moving the ball and people can make people look like. Even if you are lacking your all-star starting point guard, if you move the ball. Now you don't know who's taking the shot. You have no at this point, and especially when Cat wasn't on the floor, if they had to go to a shot, they'd be like, "Who's this ball going to?" You understand? That's a good problem to have when people don't know whose night is going to be, and they're leaning into it right now. The Knicks are buying into the system. They're cool with you getting yours, you getting yours. As long as we win this game, I'm cool with all results.
Talk that shit.
So this is
100%.
what you're seeing right now. And it's what you at the right time. This is perfect timing. Perfect timing. When you have your use of your whole team is deadly. If you could have 3, but if I have 15, I don't have to put all my eggs in one basket. I can get 10 and 5 from somebody else and still make up what your 3 are going to do. And then I always talk about basketball being in peace is a team game for a reason. You have to have people to play make. You have to have people to defend. You have to have people to be unselfish. But the number one thing is you have to have people that buy in. And that's what we have. We have a team of unselfish folk who just want to win. And then we have people that play both sides of the court. A lot of them. We don't understand how rare that is in today's NBA. A lot of people don't really understand how rare two-way players are in this league. That's why they get paid the way they get paid. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see us in this playoff because, like you mentioned, Lee, we are built. We are built. You just have different ways. If OG can't do it here, he can do it this way, and then he come down and then play make on defensive end. And then get you that. You see them looking very unselfish. It was a time, I think it was Mikal or Josh. I can't remember. They had a wide open shot, kind of. But they seen Mitch wide open underneath the basket. Passed it at the last moment.
It was OG.
Okay, it was OG. Yeah, that's again, I love to see it. Unselfish basketball. That just means we do not care who scores. We just want the easiest, best available shot. That is it.
I got a mad wild hot take, but first, before I drop it, I'm gonna give a shout out to the chat. Shout out Pitch for Timmy, my main op, actually my low key one of my best buddies also. JT Reddit, Prezi the boss, Agent Super.
Pfizer gang, Prezi.
We see you, baby. We appreciate you, Winston Ellis. I see Glamour in here as well. Alexander, my road dog, waiting for that email, brother. We'll be talking soon. Of course, always every episode. Fritz Alessander, my guy, the best mod in the game, the fifth KOT Beetle, and an all-around super kind, super sweet, super smart individual. We are blessed to have him on the KOT team. We appreciate all of y'all. Nick Yak, my main guy, another one of my ops. We love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, talking
I
Knicks
see
ball.
Nick Glamour too. Can't forget Nick Glamour. I
I did.
see
I
you.
shot her out.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I must have been talking.
Glamour's the homie, man. That's pure KOT, long time love there too. So, hot take, man. Here it goes. Hot take. I think the Knicks have three number two options. We have evolved this starting five to the point to where any given night is just based on matchups. Who has the matchup that night? And it could change half to half. It could change quarter to quarter. We saw last game, Cat against Milwaukee. Cat had his moment, then OG had his moment, and Bridges had his moment. These are three guys that I just said are true. That term is thrown around a lot, three-level score. All three are true three-level scores, dominant three-level scores, all capable of averaging 25 in a playoff series. And we have JB at the head of a snake, a true back-to-back MVP candidate, all-star starter, definitely will be All-NBA this season. Probably will win the Clutch Award as your main guy. And then whoever you need to go off. It's probably going to be a different player. That's number two option if we play the Pistons than it's going to be if we play the Milwaukee Bucks. It's going to be a different number two if we play Cleveland than it will against the Boston Celtics. That's a beautiful thing to have. We're the only team who can say that. Because if you look at Cleveland, no doubt Darius Garland's number two. If you look at Boston, no doubt Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown is a number two. The hierarchy is there. We are that unknowingness works to our favor, and it makes us a really dominant team on offense, and it's great to have right before these playoffs start.
Yep. I watch this team, and sometimes I tell you all the time, I still can't believe this is the team I get to watch, especially when they play the way they play today. And like you mentioned, JB having to adjust to the team because we don't want, and I mentioned one-on-one games. We don't want trap one-on-one games.
Right.
You know how I always say, don't just let the others beat you. You know, the superstars are going to be the superstars. But if you cut off the role players, can two people beat your whole team? And if they can, they had it. Okay, tip your hat to them. You know, but if you can't, then that makes it for a difficult, ugly game, probably, right? If your stars have no help. So I say that to say that's the only thing when we get to the playoffs that Jalen Brunson, when he gets back, has to kind of see what's going on. Are they giving me the one-on-one because they want me to try to do it all by myself?
Great
and
point.
take the rhythm from OG and Mikal, because
Great
then that's they're cool with that. You know, we're easier to beat that way.
Yep. And that's how we beat Portland. I think there was a little bit of Tibs saying, all right, Denny Avdija, the stats prove it. He's one of the best dribble penetrators in the NBA. Let's give him that, but let's cut the valve off to everything else and not let, as you said, the others kill us. Now, Shane Sharp had his moment, but I think it was too late by the time he started getting on a heater.
Yeah.
It had already pulled away offensively, and our guys were in rhythm, so they couldn't trade basket for basket. But I agree 100%. I'm really excited for these playoffs to start up and for us to unleash our full arsenal, because to have three guys that can all attack different mismatches, to be able to run your offense through Cat or even run the offense through Mikal Bridges, it's a luxury that we haven't had and that we didn't have last year. Because last year going to the playoffs, we needed Julius Randle to be all-star Julius Randle in the playoffs. He had to be in order for us to get out of the second round. And we don't have that worry anymore. OG was not the OG last year. He is this year. Now we have him playing the best basketball of his career, plus Cat, and plus Mikal Bridges, who's playing at an all-star level. Like, I'm really excited for the playoffs. I think the best is yet to come.
Yes, facts. And you can't forget Josh Hart as your small forward, almost averaging a double-double. That's crazy.
Yep.
That is absolutely nuts. So this team, again, when used right, which is why it's so frustrating for some of the season, especially for me regarding Tibs, is because I felt we could have been doing this even when we had Jalen Brunson.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I always say we've been working harder We've been working extremely harder than smarter poets because it's the truth. It's the
It is.
truth. You see what it is. When we have everybody on all cylinders, it doesn't. It looks easy. It's no stat. It's not. Oh, we're struggling to find buckets. We didn't really say that too much today. It was a little stretch, but other than that, again, adjustments.
Yep.
It looked like we could get what we wanted. It looked like everybody was locked in.
Yep. When they started playing that drop to contain Karl-Anthony Towns, Tibbs started going to Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges carved him up in the
Mm-hmm.
mid-range. Money on that jumper and hitting the jumper from different parts of a court too, to where it had to keep the defense on their toes and realize, oh, they're not running the same action every single play. They're getting Bridges in different spots on the court, which makes their defensive back line have to shift and adjust to where Mikal Bridges is coming from. So I'm saying all this as an alley-oop to myself because, yes, I'm talking real big up on our Knicks offense. Tibbs, you better not screw it up, bro. You better not screw it up. All this talk about how good we are was the pass, the lob, and now I'm about to slam it down. Because Tibbs, you better not disappoint in these playoffs. You have all the tools to compete with Boston in the second round. It's the schedule set. We're going to play Milwaukee in the first round. I think we sweep 5 games max. My personal opinion. Without Dame, that's a lot of pressure on Giannis. All right. Second round, it's Boston. The 3 seed plays a 2 seed. Boston's in the 2 seed. There's a pretty sizable gap between them and Cleveland. That's not shifting, right? We're not overtaking Boston. Boston's not overtaking Cleveland, which means Celtics, Knicks, second round. If we lose, I'm not going to say I'm okay with that. Just compete. No blowouts, no ass whoopings, no sweep, no 5-game series. Let me see that competitive fire. Let me see adjustments. If they start playing drop with KP, let me see you running multiple off-ball screens for Mikal Bridges to catch and attack in that fadeaway, or even Shamet in that same action. I got to see Tibbs take full advantage of us offensively and defensively going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like you mentioned before, but Mikal, just doing his thing. I had talked about how he was killing in the mid range, but it was a point in the game where the defense, I guess, was tired of him dribble, pull up on the mid range. They played off of him a little bit, and then he just bang hit him with a 3-pointer. So
Yep.
again, right reads, just like I mentioned with
Yep.
DeLon, Mikal doing the same thing, being in the spot and being the main, looking as the main options lately, more so being called more. He is being more aggressive, the confidence, and getting the right reads from, like you mentioned, all levels.
Yep.
And that's dope. That's dope to see. And a Negro said it isn't the ammo, but how you employ your weapons. Facts are facts.
That's a bar.
Facts are facts. And with Kuzma, I want to know which one we getting. Are you gonna get the one that was at the Lakers, or are you gonna get loser? Because you gotta shake off the loser juice from the Wizards. So
Yeah.
again, we have to see what Kuzma we get. He can be a little erratic himself. We'll see what that looks like in the playoffs. I guess if
Yep.
that's going to be our first round. But I can't get off here, man, without talking about my guy. You know I wasn't going to. I just mentioned him in passing, but
Let's talk about it.
you know I wasn't getting off here without talking about the onion we call Mitchell Robinson. It's just so many things. I thought he had a bad game. Everybody's entitled. I felt maybe the off and on with the back to backs might have messed up his timing a little bit. He didn't look so locked in and focused as he normally did. Not last game, the game before. This game though, I loved his intensity and then he got his, but a lot of that was because he was hitting them with some crazy Euro steps. Like he was Euro stepping everywhere, all over the place, just Euro everywhere. So
skilled.
Yeah, very. And Klingon was doing well. Another something Mitchell Robinson does. He was, trying to give a lane for Denny. So we're gonna talk about Mitch because his picks again. I'm gonna say it again because they've improved. I've heard all season. I've heard since last season how Mitch sets terrible screens. That might have been 3 years ago, but the last 2 years Mitch has been setting great screens. He gets your players some of the easiest shots they can get, and they're in the flow. They get to their spot. So it's different, and then they can work into a rhythm. When he came on the floor again, that's what the run started. That him, Mikal, DeLon, they started on the defense, started pushing pressure more. You see OG in the passing lanes a lot more. He's back there. You see him taking more chances. Everybody, it didn't matter. Mikal was in there. Josh Hart tried to get some, the steals. They just got aggressive when he's back there and showing you just again. I heard about the dunker spot all the time. Mitch doesn't. What was my response to that dunker spot comment? He doesn't stay in that dunker spot. Mitch moves. He's not a lazy big man. He moves. He will pick. He will set. He will cut. And the ball is moving now, so it's easy to get for people to miss him. Like he could be wide open under the basket because they're so focused on OG Mikal. Then you have your center right there waiting for an easy dunk or waiting for an easy rebound and a dunk, whatever it is. And his vision, he does have vision. He gets the ball to the open player when he does get the offensive rebounds. It's just so many different things he does. And another thing, this I'm gonna save it for last. I had to because I heard again. Everybody know how big of a Mitch fan I am. So while he wasn't playing, I heard all these fairy tales and narratives all day. I'm like, and I didn't ever understand why. Because all Mitch needs to be on this team is Mitch. That is it. He just needs to be. Is nothing out of his comfort zone. We're not asking for the turnaround middies. Three blocks he had? There you go, Mitch behavior, and and then his perimeter defense. What I've said last year improved. Looks have to even improve more this year. He is staying in front and confidently. It's no looking behind me. It's let me lock down. Let me get low in the stance and try to make it difficult. And even if you do beat him, he's the games. He's slowed down. He's knowledgeable now. He knows to give you some space. And I'm taller and longer than you, Post. I can get that block still, even if you do beat me, if I take the right angles, which he need to teach that to Cat ASAP. But it's just so many things that he's good, and they don't show up on the box score. It doesn't show you that how his screen just obliterated somebody and got DeLon Wright an easy layup, or his screen just got Mikal into his free throw pull up after he set a pick at the top of the key, or his help defense, he showed himself and somebody hesitate. Stuff like that don't show up. But that's what he does. That's what he gives you. And I'm so happy to have him back. And that his presence is what makes me more confident about in the playoffs, about with the Boston and Cleveland, because I understand, one, he's not going to back down. And two, he's going to give you whatever you got. Another playoff player. So
very well said. I'm just going to add a little bit to that because you just dropped a Shakespearean monologue, and I don't think it doesn't need me to botch it up. But I will give two things I've seen from Mitch that have improved as his conditioning has improved. I think he played 14 straight minutes in that game against Milwaukee, which shows that he has his legs under him. He's not just able to stay on the court, but he's able to impact. And the two things I've really liked from Mitchell Robinson, we didn't see a whole lot of it today, but we saw it in Milwaukee, playing the passing lanes. He's becoming a demon in the mid-range. He's really it's twofold, and it leads into my other point. One, he understands the game better. It's slowing down for him on defensive end, where he's able to predict and the telegraph passes to catch, and then very instinctually he throws long outlet advanced passes that didn't start fast breaks. Love that about him. That leads into him being able to guard at the level. Has improved tremendously. He's gotten that spunk back in his lateral footwork where he's able now to switch on the bigs. Tibs is now starting to trust him in pick and roll to switch onto the wings on the perimeter and guard them man on man. That is a wrench that we can throw out defensively that I don't think any of our other bigs, maybe Hot Porty, but I don't trust Hot Porty yet in the playoffs. Certainly not Precious. Certainly not Cat. But if Mitch can start switching and pick and roll and containing perimeter shooters, that will be most important against Boston. The really one true 5-out team in the NBA who can kill you at all 5 positions with over 38% shooting on offense in the perimeter. That's going to be key.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk, but it's supposed to be two of him on this team, right? But I'm not gonna cry about spilled milk because the guy that we did trade, though, I always praised him for his perimeter defense.
For sure.
I always said that he was our best perimeter big, but Mitch is out there. I might have been saying I don't know about it no more, because he's shown me some things, and again, it doesn't look shaky. It's not like okay, one time it happened. It's a couple times
Yes.
in this game.
Agreed.
He's switched and been very confident that he's going to stay in front of this person. And the Knicks were very confident that he was going to stay in front of this person because I don't remember them sending a double team or looking to hurry up and switch back with him unless
Yeah.
it was a bigger player trying to post our smaller guard. Then you would see them off ball, real quick switch. But otherwise, if he was on that ball, you didn't see anybody rushing him. You didn't see anybody double. It was just, okay, Mitch, handle your business. And Mitch was handling his business.
It's no surprise that OG's offensive output improves along the same time Mitch comes back because OG's not having to clean up so much of a mess. Early in the season, Tibs was employing OG in that pre-switch and pick and roll to take Cat's spot to try to guard as a rim protector. That's not OG's job. OG is better when he's either guarding the opposing team's best player for stretches or as a free safety guard the entire
Yeah.
mid-range. Now
That
OG doesn't have to have that much of a load, pause, defensively. So offensively, his legs are there in the fourth quarter where he can still be a force, a physical force going downhill and storing at the rim.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. You said free safety. I was gonna say cornerback,
Yeah.
because that's what Mitch allows him to do. Just play like you said, free safety. Just watch, ball hawk.
Yep.
And he's such an intelligent defensive player. You know what's going down. So he just like, okay, I got another defensive playmaker behind me. I could be a lot more aggressive in these passing lanes, and you see that. You see that, and I kind of mentioned that might happen when Mitch came back.
You sure
People,
did.
oh, see, I don't know. One day, Lee, one day they'll listen. I don't always claim to be right, but Mitch, defense definitely the what it can do and how having somebody else that plays defense affects the defender. You on go time. You ready to jump these fools? Like let's get him. Let's get him. And that's what you see. OG just in the crowd, just always looking and more. I love it. I mentioned that their chemistry defensively. They've gotten a good chemistry on that
Yeah,
end.
for sure. All right. Let's move into the bruh pits and the ooh pits. I'll let you go first. I gotta run to the restroom, so I'm gonna let you unload the clip. Well, I go pee real quick. I'll be RB.
Good. Do your thing. Make your calls. I have a ooh pick, y'all. My ooh pick is I'm gonna say happy birthday to 80th birthday to Clyde Frazier. Definitely has improved my vocabulary. Always keeps us laughing, no filter, and I love it. Tell it like it is, and as a New York fan, I can speak for myself. I'm pretty sure I speak for a lot of us, and I love for Walt Clyde Frazier. So happy 80th birthday, and wishing you many many more. Um, that's my ooh pick. Also I have another ooh pick. I want to give my ooh pick to Lauren Betts. She just beat LSU today, but I want to give it her love and support because she's the internet can be a cruel thing, and everything's political right now, where they're trying to use any and everything to look like they're right and voting for whoever they voted for. But calling this young lady who's born a woman and calling her trans and doing all this of that, calling her man and she shouldn't be playing, and then putting it out to the crowd that they for sure know that she's a man. This is a born she's born a woman, like she's 6'8". People have deeper voices. She has a deep voice. My voice ain't the squeakiest. I get it. We women have deep voice. We come in all shades, sizes, and our voice come in all pitches. We're not robots. Everybody's not the same. So as soon as something is different, is wicked, is evil, or is or in a woman is a man,
Yeah.
which is absolutely crazy. And it's even crazier because there's mention that she's, that's caused growing up. That was some insecurities of her being so tall. So I just wanna share some love and support and tell her don't listen to the goofies. I really want to say more, but this is a family show. Don't listen to the goofies and the people who looking for their hairline and they can't find it. Don't 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 listen to them because all of them look the same. It was crazy. It was crazy. But that's my ooh pick, my two ooh picks, and I have a bruh pick. I definitely again related to Lauren Betts, and she might be with Gil and Paul Pierce soon. She might just be an honorary bruh pick, cause
Forever, bro.
yeah, she about to join the bruhs. Holly Rowe again. Like why? I don't know. They need to put her as a where she could write or something. But the live interviews, because the live interviews, oh my goodness, she on a roll. So about the BET Awards, compare Juju Watkins' game to BET Awards. I said that on this show, and then today again bringing trauma during a what's supposed to be a happy time for a player, college player at that moment. She's had the history of bringing it up people's trauma to show their resilience or something. But they're not trying to think of this. This is a happy moment. It's
Right.
trauma. So she again with Lauren Betts mentioned about how she had to be hospitalized or something for some issues, mental issues. But that's not something you want to relive or tell on.
Hell, no.
You get what I mean? So
Yeah,
definitely, bruh pick. I
that's
know
private.
the bruh pick definitely has to go to Holly Road. That's crazy. She definitely has a history. She at the WNBA draft one year, during her after she just got drafted to the WNBA, she mentions the toughest time this player had. And the player couldn't believe she was bringing it up. Like she was fighting back tears, and it was so much so that the player's family was even grilling her. Like you feel like the knives through the screen. It was their eyes were like if they could curse her out right then and there, they probably would have. So yeah, just be a little bit more sensitive toward these are kids still. They're still students. They are still in college. I get people bet and they do all that other stuff, but these are still people in college. And I just need the people to have some more empathy and compassion, I guess.
Well said. I have three U picks. First, shout out the greatest Nick of all time, Walt Clyde Frazier, on his 80th birthday. God give the OG some love. My dad's favorite player, and when we went to the very first season opener in the 2019 and 2020 season, RJ Barrett's rookie year, my dad had the chance to meet him after being a fan for, oh man, 50, 55 years. He would Clyde Frazier was just sitting in the front row after the game, and we had these passes from Reggie Bullett's side thought, gave it to us so we could meet the players. And while Clyde Frazier was sitting by himself, I was like, Pop, man, I was like, go say hi to your idol, man. So my dad went over there, and they had a long conversation about just how much he meant to him, and I think he means a lot to a lot of Knicks fans of all ages. He's taught so many of us the game of basketball. Also, expanded all of our vocabularies. And also has been a great voice, not afraid to criticize a team. And boy, was he critical during the Isaiah Thomas era. I remember that he would dog the team, roast the players, roast the coaching decisions. It was good that you felt like you had someone on your side, right? There was a part of Nick's legacy that was seeing what you were seeing and was calling it for what it was. So major props to Clyde for never being a Knicks MSG intern or a yes man and always being himself, both on the court, off the court, and in fly ass outfits. He's also a fashion icon for me as well.
Yeah, I gave my happy birthday wish too. Just about the same thing. We love Walt. We love our Clyde Frazier. You can't say anything bad
Amen.
about him. Sometimes, the only thing that Clyde makes me mad sometimes because he don't argue with refs, so the refs be right all the time. But then every once in a while he be like, "Hold on, man, I ain't see no foul." So yeah, definitely. He makes watching the game more enjoyable. I get mad when it's on other channels and we
For sure.
can't hear him.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't mad when I had to listen to Wally Zerbiak instead of him. Like Jamal Crawford, I can handle. Wally Zerbiak, oh, talk about company, man. I just can't handle it, man. I don't like people who are either identify as positive Knicks Twitter or negative Knicks Twitter. Just be rational, man. Just call it how it is. You don't have to have an agenda. And Wally Zerbiak be making way too many excuses for anyone associated with the Knicks. I have one more oop Guys, shout out local Allen, Texas high school went all the way to the national championship finals, lost to Cayenne Anthony's Long Island Lutheran team in a very close game. It was single-digit loss. Allen basketball, one of the best teams in the nation this year, did not make the UIO state tournament finals as they lost to my favorite team, Duncanville, on a one-shot game. The team entered the last possession, but Allen very, very good. And major shout out to my main man Carmelo Anthony, my favorite Knick of all time, second favorite player after Kobe Bryant. Just a great human being, someone who I have a lot of admiration for as a person as much as a player. He went into the Allen locker room and gave them props and boosted them up. While his son just beat them, he had the humility and understanding to go into the Allen locker room and say, "You kids played a hell of a game. You played against some of the best players in the country on this team, future NBA players, and y'all showed out. That's something to be proud of. Don't hang your heads. Be proud of this moment. Be proud of you got here." I always thought it was a huge act of humanity on Melo's part to go do that. So shout out Allen, shout out Melo, and shout out Keon Anthony for going to college with a state title on his back, national title.
Yeah, and that could be a bro pick too, because he's not a All American. So,
Wow, that's shocking.
yeah, he's not. They
Yeah,
didn't pick him
25.
as an All American. And Melo, who is my favorite Nick, is like I want to say, I had two of my favorite all time favorite players play for the Knicks. It was Melo and D Rose. I got to see and Melo was the first time my favorite player really was on my team. It was new. It was different. When they traded him, I was hurt. But he's just a great dude that's about the game of basketball. They want to keep the integrity of basketball together. So he's always willing to inspire the youth. You see him with the basketball in the basketball court with his son on the basketball courts all the time.
Yep.
And he didn't sugarcoat it with him either. He let him go through all the Christ the Kings, and he did Christ the Kings. So he did a public Catholic school first, and then he let him do all the West Fourths, the Gersh. He played in all of those too, so you get the street ball aspect of it. He developed his son properly. They went through a basketball journey, and I think they actually took that against Cayenne when you think about it, because he at first he was trying to work on his game. Freshman, sophomore year, he might have not been as good as he is now. Of course not. He's rounded out his game, but for him to not have All American, this is the perfect response for that.
Wow. Yeah. I hope when he is eligible, Leon Rose does what he can to bring him home in New York to play at MSG. That'd be fantastic to watch him start his career learning from Jalen Brunson. I would love to have him on the team and complete his dad's career circle. It would be much deserved. Melo's already in the house for NBA games. Might as well put the orange and blue on his son's back and let him go to work on the MSG court. Cool. Anything else, Ebony? Before we head out?
Let me see. Oh, we had another super chat. I don't know.
Yeah, read it. What do we got?
It says, "We made our goal 4K. Let's get to 5K." Thank you, Corey Lee. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Corey Lee. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Yep, Blood Orange Tears YouTube channel reached 4K subscribers. They said, "Congrats.
Those are the homies, man.
Yes, definitely. Nick Yak said Mitch was Mitching tonight. Yep. Definitely was.
For sure.
Yeah, that's it. I think I spoke about everybody. I hope I didn't forget DeLon. Yeah, Sham. I think we spoke about everybody.
All right. Well,
good team win.
Tell the people where to find you, Ed.
You can find me here after every Knick game. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and Mad Knick Fan. I also do a pregame space on Twitter called Your Take Knicks. And the basketball, WNBA season rolling around, soon come. But it's still, and I do a women's basketball space called Bowling with the Queens. on Twitter also after every Liberty game. We're there, and sometimes we just do pop-up spaces too. So that's it.
Love it. You can find me on Twitter at _Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo. You can find Nick of Time on Twitter, Instagram, what else? TikTok, all the places podcasts can be found. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's make sure we get to 40 likes tonight on our episode tonight to help out Fritz in the chat, who's doing putting in the blood, sweat, and tears to moderate the chat and make sure everyone's having a fun time with the quizzes and the trivia and the shout outs. We appreciate you, Fritz, for all you do, man. Catch us again Tuesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. I'm sure Quentin Grimes will try to have a career night playing with a bunch of G League bums on that team, who I believe they've been eliminated now from the play-in tournament, which is super hilarious because guys like Mark Spears and others were saying that the Philly had a better offseason and were the better team than us, which is that's a mad delusional to say that. Look how our seasons have turned out in comparison. So yeah, we got 76ers on Tuesday, and then we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland on Wednesday. We catch them as they kind of get into an inconsistent stretch in their season. They're not the same dominant team they were, at least defensively, as they were in the last 4 or 5 months. But that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good matchup. It's possible we can see them in the playoffs if we hit the ECF. If they end up making it too. So that's going to be one to look out. I will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Evan will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Jay Ellis will be back on Tuesday as well. We appreciate it, y'all, man. Remember, it's a mess out here in these YouTube streets. That's the show. We out.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.